Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in Skycam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. It looks as if downtown Scranton can have it both ways.
A compromise has been worked out to bring both the Steamtown National Park and a new mall to the city's downtown. The mall developers and Steamtown have been fighting for the same piece of land.
Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini is live now in downtown Scranton. Bob, what's this compromise all about?
Well, Karen and Nolan, the word has come from Congressman Joseph McDade's Washington office that the dispute for this piece of land has been settled. Now, we're standing in the old Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Rail Yard in Scranton. You can see behind me part of the Steamtown collection is being stored here. Now, we're told details of the compromise worked out between the National Park Service and the Boscov department store chain will be made public sometime later this week. But two major projects for the city of Scranton are one step closer to reality.
A couple weeks of intense negotiations has brought about this compromise. Both the National Park Service, which is taking over Steamtown, and Boscov's, which is developing a mall, wanted the land, or at least each wanted most of it. And both sides have been meeting in Washington to try to reach some compromise, and that's what they finally did today. We talked with an obviously pleased Mayor David Wenzel of Scranton this afternoon, shortly after he heard the news.
I just hope that everyone takes this into the right frame of mind and says enough is enough, let's get going with this project because it means so much to downtown Scranton.
There's still a legal hurdle for the mall project. Some local businessmen and preservationists are fighting it, trying to prevent a block of stores from being torn down. Mayor Wenzel says settling that lawsuit is now the #1 priority.
As we said, details of the compromise should be made public sometime later this week. But obviously, any compromise would mean that the National Park Service would have its historic railroad museum at this 41-acre yard. And at the same time, the Boscov Mall will get its parking spaces probably in the form of a multi-tiered garage, perhaps some of it being underground in this area. The planners have apparently found enough room on this land for both of the projects to live with the other. Bob Costantini live with the Instacam in Scranton. Karen?
Thank you, Bob. It appears a lot of potential workers just are not willing to cross the picket line at International Paper's Hammer Mill plant in Lock Haven. Only a handful of workers showed up today to replace strikers who have been off the job now for nearly a month. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci says they arrived and left to the sound of jeers.
The 40 replacements were yelled at and had their cars spat upon as they left the plant after their first full day of work. 700 striking paper workers vowed that the company could never make this mill operate productively, using a few dozen replacements to take the place of hundreds of experienced union workers.
I've been here at the mill for 39 years, and you don't learn to run paper machines and the equipment in there in just a few days.
Hammer mill officials won't allow cameras into the plant, but they do tell us off camera that about half of the paper-making equipment in there is operating. They also refuse to characterize the 40 people brought in today as strikebreakers. Instead, they refer to them as permanent replacement workers.
And they, in effect, are trying to take away my living. And before I cross that bridge, every man that is hired as a replacement worker will be out of there. That's the way I feel, and the way all these people that I see right here feel.
You don't buy this term, permanent replacement?
Absolutely not. They will be negotiated out.
The company is saying it will hire more replacements. Another negotiating session between the company and the union is slated for a week from Friday. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, Lock Haven.
A big Allentown employer, Mack Trucks, opens its new plant in South Carolina in 3 weeks. And the Allentown local UAW union is now offering quite an incentive to entice union members losing their jobs in Allentown to move down south. Newswatch 16's Valerie Devine reports the offer is $100 extra a week until at least November, just for packing up and moving to South Carolina.
Hoping to cash in on the UAW's incentive plan is Don Walnock of Allentown. A 15-year veteran at the 5C plant, Walnock will lose his job when the plant closes in November. A single parent and father of 3, he wasn't sure he wanted to pick up his family and move to South Carolina. That is until his local union told him they'd pay him $100 extra a week.
Well, around here, the average job will be about $5, maybe $6 an hour, you know, and at least I have 15 years with them, and I can continue with a pension of some sort. Plus, it's $7 an hour, plus now the union's offering an extra $250 or $100 a week, so that takes me up to $9.50 an hour.
Walnock is one of 3,400 employees laid off or working here at 5C, eligible to make the move to the new plant. Several hundred workers displaced through seniority at the Macungie plant are also eligible under the incentive plan. But the last day to sign up to go south is on Wednesday, and that has UAW Union President Kim Blake upset.
The fact that MAC is giving an employee 9 days to make a decision and perhaps 2 weeks total time to even be down there in the facility or lose all seniority is criminal on MAC's part, and you know, we know that the membership can't make the proper decision, can't make a decision that's going to affect the rest of their life in a matter of a week and a half or 2 weeks. And so
Now, Kim Blake says the short period of time is what prompted the UAW to try at the last minute and help its union members with the incentive plan. We tried all afternoon to reach someone at Macworld headquarters to ask them about their reaction to the plan and to find out why the Wednesday deadline is so rigid, especially since 5C doesn't close until November. But no one was available for comment. Nolan?
Okay, Valerie, thank you. We've heard all of the warnings about a big garbage crisis if the Westside landfill in Luzerne County were to close.
Well, the dump has been shut down for 5 days now, and the worst fears apparently have not come true.
Newswatch 16's Mark Davis is live now in Pringle.
Mark, how is that town coping without a landfill?
Well, Karen, Pringle's coping in a rather unique fashion. The problem was this. Last week when the landfill closed, it had collected trash in its trash truck, but nowhere to put it. That's where this abandoned pool on Evans Street comes into play. If you'll come with me for a second, you can see that this pool is somewhat, maybe a quarter or less filled with collected trash. Now, the Borough Council assures us that this will be out of here by the end of the week when they find another place to dump it. But for now, it stays. Now, the people living around here tell me they don't mind because they think it's only a temporary situation, so they're putting up with it for a few days. Now, that's here in Pringle. In other towns, it's a different story. Here in the borough of Ashley, garbage collections have been stopped until further notice, one of the few towns to do so. In this Cunningham Street neighborhood, Monday is garbage day, but not this week. Some people didn't know and put their trash out anyway. Others left it where it may stay for a while, stored away from the street. Bill Matraver and Norman Strish live in this neighborhood and are worried about old garbage and a hot July sun.
And I wish it stays no longer than a week because I think it's going to be terrible. The smell will be rough, and I think it'll be devastating to the people in Ashley.
There's no question about that, like I said, we go into 2 and 3 weeks, and if this type of the weather continues, we're in trouble. And this we don't need.
The majority of the other towns are taking their trash to the Amity landfill in Taylor, Lackawanna County. Some paying a higher rate, others traveling a farther distance. But right now, there's little choice. Now, the key here is that most trash is being picked up. There was a meeting today in Harrisburg between DER and officials which own the Westside landfill, but so far no agreement to reopen it. The condition remains the same. There must be a $5 million bond to reopen the Westside landfill, and right now, that looks like it could take some time. I'm Mark Davis, live with the Instacam in Pringle.
Okay, Mark, thank you. And coming up, all shook up in western Pennsylvania.
Plus, the Lackawanna County couple who called a company called Ace Construction, but now say they're $300 in the hole. Action 16's Jerry Gartenberg tries to straighten things out as Newswatch 16 continues.
I want it to be really cool.
Me too.
The couch has got to be a classic.
Definitely.
How about the dining room set there?
No, the bookcases.
Yeah, I can see that.
Good. We agree.
We make beautiful furniture affordable at Wilkes-Barre's Best. The Town and Country Furniture Galleries, Main Street, Wilkes-Barre.
This is just how I pictured it.
I'm here at the Sigma Alpha Pi frat house. Hey, guys. Hey, what's this, a science project?
No, we sent one of the pledges out for pizza, and he got this crummy stuff.
Well, you know, Pizza Hut pizza to go is the same great pan pizza they serve in their restaurants.
Tell me about it. We sent another pledge to Pizza Hut.
Where's the first pledge?
I'll never get skimpy pizza again. I'll never get skimpy pizza again. I'll never get skimpy pizza again. I'll never get skimpy pizza.
Studying pizza crime and punishment, I'm Rich Hall.
During these summer months, there seems to be more fly-by-night contractors preying on people looking for home improvements.
Well, a Lackawanna County couple says a man claiming to be a contractor took their money and ran. Action 16's Jerry Gartenberg found that so-called contractor Ace Construction was violating state law. Jerry's live now in his office to explain. Jerry?
Well, Karen, the company has been advertised in local newspaper ads as Ace Construction, but no company by that name is registered to do business in Pennsylvania. Now, a couple from Oliphant tell me they found all of that out too late.
Absolutely nothing for my money.
Lorraine and Jim Ross say Ace Construction was supposed to build them a new porch, stairway, and steps. They called the company after spotting this recent ad for home repair work in a local newspaper. 3 weeks ago, they paid John Wiegand of Ace Construction $300 toward the job. They say that was after he came to their home and promised he'd come back later that day to begin work. He didn't. Now they don't know where he is. The last time Lorraine Ross says she was able to track down Wiegand.
He says, oh, well, I'll come and start the job. I'll tear down the old steps, but I can't tell you when I'll have the new ones up.
We tried to track down John Wiegand at the address for Ace Construction listed on Lorraine Ross's work agreement. No luck. Then we noticed ads for 4 other companies listing the same phone numbers as Ace. And like Ace, none of these companies are registered to do business in Pennsylvania. They are JCP Construction Remodeling, JCP Painting, ABC Painting, and A1 Floors. When we called the numbers, we reached a man who says he runs ABC Painting and A1 Floor out of the same Carbondale address John Wiegand uses. But he says he has nothing to do with Wiegand or Ace Construction, and that in fact Wiegand doesn't even work out of here anymore. However, he does admit he was on the job with Wiegand the day that Lorraine Ross gave Wiegand a check for $300. All of this leaves Ross wondering where she can find John Wiegand and whether she'll ever again see her money.
I want my money back because my husband works hard for our money, and it's a week's pay. And it's our money.
Well, that's why you ought to be alert whenever you consider doing business with a company you have never heard of before. Now, if you are up for some home repairs, it's a good idea to get a list of satisfied customers. Also, a written contract that spells out a start and completion date for the work. And also remember, folks, when you sign a written contract in your home, you have 3 business days from the date you sign that contract to request and receive all of your money back. Nolan?
Thank you, Jerry.
People in western Pennsylvania are a bit shaken up today.
Tonight, we begin our trip around Pennsylvania in a minute. In the western part of the state, people in western Erie County were shaken up this morning by a mild earthquake centered in Ohio. There were no injuries or damage, but police say they did get a lot of calls from worried residents.
Penn State University is getting a lot of help from its friends. The university announced today that it raised almost $49 million this past year. Most of the money came from alumni, friends, corporations, and foundations. Government money was not included in that total. In Luzerne County, people in Kingston Township who want to get rid of debris left over from last week's flash floods can have the stuff picked up by calling 696-3809. And finally, they cut the ribbon today for a new development in Scranton. Oakwood Estates will eventually have room for 130 families. And that's Pennsylvania in a minute. Well, I don't know what the official definition, I think I do. Is it 3 days, 89 or 90?
93 or more.
Whatever, it's a heat wave.
It's a heat wave and we're in one, but there's an end in sight.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to be happy about that. And when we come back, we'll talk about when that will be, and we'll look at some more storms on the radar. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP-TV, and we're proud to serve Old Forge and all of Lackawanna County.
Can I help you?
Batter fried fish, gotta have some tender, delicious life. Batter fried fish, gotta get that crispy, golden, what a delight. Batter fried fish, everybody's loving every crunchy bite of that. Batter fried fish, do-do-do-do.
Is that for here or to go?
I don't know. Long John Silver's sounds good to me.
All right, Tom says we have some relief coming. Tom?
We do, Nolan, in the form of a cool front that will get here by daybreak on Wednesday. But out in the backyard tonight, like a steam bath, I'm observing some towering cumulus clouds up to the southeast over the Poconos. And we'll look at those storms on the radar in just a moment. Lightning is one of the most dangerous forms of weather. It kills more people each year than do tornadoes and hurricanes combined. Some lightning safety tips. Stay indoors when there's a thunderstorm. Avoid electrical appliances. Don't use the telephone. And get out of the pool. Water is a an excellent conductor of electricity. So as soon as you hear thunder, get out of the pool. Stay in your car, if you're in your car before the storm hits, and unplug your TV set. I keep hearing reports from TV sets that are damaged due to power surges caused by lightning. So unplug the set from the wall outlet. And you might save yourself a small repair bill. Now, here's what we have across the area. Kim Bierman in Lee Heighton tells me 90 down there tonight in Carbon County with some hazy sun. Tim McDonald in Overton, Bradford County tells me 84. And Eric in Bloomsburg now has 90 in his backyard. He's out cutting the lawn. He says it's hot, hazy, and humid. Not necessarily in that order. Now, next is a hot and hazy view today from near the village of Ransom in Lackawanna County. Very murky today in the valley. 88 out back now. The humidity is high, 50%. The wind west at 8. The barometer holding steady now at 29.84. High temp here today, 88 degrees, 70. The muggy low this morning, 95 and a cool 50 for the record low set back in 1974. Over an inch of rain with some thunderstorms 1 year ago today. Here's the live Skywatch 16 Doppler radar, the 25-mile scan. Now notice between Wilkes-Barre and the Poconos there are some big storms, and looks like the Bear Creek area is getting hit, or is about to get hit now. These storms moving up towards Moscow and Lackawanna County, but elsewhere nothing threatening Wilkes-Barre and Scranton at this hour. Here's the 100-mile scan, and out to the west more thunderstorms now forming between Williamsport and Harrisburg. Here's the cloud photograph coming up next, and we can see the scattered storms now over western Pennsylvania. Here's the cool front. If you haven't had any rain at your place over the past couple of days, you will between now and daybreak Wednesday, because this line will be heading towards Pennsylvania. It'll push through the area tomorrow night, and I suspect more heavy downpours. So if you do live in a flood-prone area, be alert to changing conditions, because we will be getting some very heavy drenching downpours as this front approaches and moves through. Cool, dry air will get here on Wednesday. Finally, but for tonight, some flashes of lightning out there, some heavy downpours in a few areas, widely scattered once again. Temperatures about like last night, not too far from 70 for morning lows, and a wind out of the southwest. The sunrise time tomorrow morning will be at 5:42, and the sun sets now at 8:36. So some scattered thunderstorms overnight, some heavy, some minor flooding is possible in the poor drainage areas. 82 tomorrow, not quite as hot because of the cloud cover. The front approaches some showers and some scattered heavy thunderstorms through the day into tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday, the sun comes out, a cool day, lower humidity, only 75 for the high. We haven't seen that in a while. Another passing shower Thursday, but it's going to stay cool and comfortable the latter half of this week. Finally,
we've been waiting for it.
Yes, we have.
Thanks, Tom.
Coming up, Tim Carlson on the Sports Watch with the New York Knicks' new head coach.
Plus, this area's finest high school basketball players tuning up for a big tournament.
You know, I'd never visited Dorney Park in Wildwater Kingdom before these people voted to go there for their class trip. 2 weeks later, I was back with my family.
I must admit I was surprised by the dozens of thrill rides and great shows. And Wildwater Kingdom's water attractions are not only exciting, they're so clean.
But the thing that makes Dorney and Wildwater Kingdom so different is the atmosphere. They're so family-oriented, we feel like we belong here.
Pick up Super Saver coupons for Dorney and Wildwater Kingdom at participating Acme markets.
Let's do Dorney!
Hey, come here. Closer. Now put your nose right on this towel. Sniff. Smell anything? No, nothing? Then you're getting the picture. It's new unscented liquid Tide. It's 100% perfume-free. And what's so nice about that is, since there's no perfume here, there's nothing to smell here. Except clean. New unscented liquid Tide. All you smell is clean.
Well, it's the All-Star break, so no Monday Night Baseball. How about some basketball?
Sure, that'll cool you off, right? Go back to the spring a little bit, the cooler weather. Wow, this is something today. The job that nobody wanted has finally been filled by the guy who was the first to turn it down when it was offered. Are you confused? Well, let me clear things up. The New York Knicks have hired Rick Pitino as their new head coach. Pitino has been offered the Knicks job when interim coach Bob Hill was fired at the end of last season. But Pitino withdrew his name from consideration and decided to stay with Providence College. But somehow, and probably with dollar signs, the Knicks have changed Pitino's mind, and today he agreed to coach the NBA team.
Providence College I so dearly love,
and my players. So on the one hand, my heart's breaking with the loss leaving them, and then my other half of my heart is elated. The best scenario could be is Providence continues winning next year and the New York Knicks turn the corner and start to win. I think that'll happen on both accounts.
Now, Patino's been around the Knicks organization before as an assistant from 1983 to 85 for Coach Hubie Brown. In 85, he left the Knicks to become head coach of Providence College, and this year he surprised everybody in the hoops business by taking the Friars to the Final Four in the NCAA playoffs. Good luck with the Knicks, Rick. You's gonna need it. More hoops to talk about this afternoon, but this time on a local front. 2 nights of fantastic basketball action coming up at King's College Gym in Wilkes-Barre this Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. That's when 4 of the finest all-star type high school basketball teams pair up to play in the Summer Basketball Classics. The team include players from high schools in New Jersey, Philadelphia, the Lehigh Valley, and of course our kids playing on the Pacesetters team. Sports Watch 16's Albie Oxenrider stopped by the Pacesetters camp the other day to check out their talent.
For the past 18 years, the best area high school basketball players have helped the Pacesetters become one of the best summer teams around. This team wins almost 80% of its games.
What we're trying to do is showcase the town in northeastern Pennsylvania and try to compete with the major metropolitan areas and other AAU teams on the East Coast and across the country.
Leading this year's team with almost 30 points a game is Nana coach Paul Gafrovich. This is his 4th and final year of Pacesetter basketball, and now it's on to a college career at Wichita State.
There's no other team around this area that you could play this caliber of ball with, all summer long, and this couldn't be better. Nothing could be better for me than playing this and then going right out to Wichita.
But this team not only helps players prepare for college competition, it also does wonders for next year's high school stars.
It's gonna make me a better all-around player because I'm playing against all-around better competition, so naturally I'm gonna be more prepared and I'll probably have a better year because I'm having better competition to play against in the summer.
But aside from the top-notch competition, playing for the Pacesetters also gives these players a chance to work on different areas of their game, including the all-important three-point shot.
I got to start sticking that three-pointer really consistent, everything will go all right.
And you think this has been helping you to work on that?
Oh, definitely. Not just shooting the ball on that, but with, a top-notch guard in your face all the time, and then you got to shoot it. That's just like you're going to have to do in college.
Albie Oxenrider, Sports Watch 16, Kingston.
So, baseball fans, here we are at the All-Star break. If your team's in first, such as the Yanks, Reds, Twins, and Cards, you're feeling pretty confident. If your team's played poorly, such as the Phils or my Orioles, you're glad for the 3-day respite. The 2 starting pitchers for tomorrow night's All-Star game have been named, and they have the hitters a bit worried. Cy Young Award winner Mike Scott of the Astros will go for the National League, while 1985 Cy Young Award winner and winner of 15 games so far this season, Brett Saberhagen of Kansas City, will go for the American League. More on the All-Stars tonight on the update. And I want to mention we're playing the Dentists tonight, the Instabats in Scranton Western Field at 7 o'clock. We're going to try to drill the Dentists.
Oh. Have a good game.
Okay.
Have fun.
Still ahead, some like it hot.
But others would rather just keep cool. We'll find out how some people are managing to beat the heat when Newswatch 16 continues.
Don't be a crab. Put a smile on your face.
Don't be a crab. Instead, come to Vic Mars in Edwardsville and enjoy seafood at its finest. Sunday through Thursday, Vic Mars offers the all-you-can-eat special. Mix or match fresh pink shrimp, fried clams, hard shell crabs, or fried shrimp served with golden fries and coleslaw.
We're really cooking at Vic Mars. Seafood for every taste.
That'll do it. Who wants grapefruit juice?
I'll pass.
Good for you.
I know, but...
Lots of vitamin C?
Yeah, but
the taste? Here, try this. Ocean Spray Pink Grapefruit Juice Cocktail. It's tangy, smoother, sweeter.
This is grapefruit juice?
It's Ocean Spray Pink Grapefruit Juice Cocktail.
It's not bitter.
And it's not just good for you, it's good. Ocean Spray good.
Finally tonight, they call them the dog days of summer. And after 5 or 6 days of hot, humid weather, a lot of people feel like they're going to the dogs.
But some of us have managed to find a way to beat the heat. For instance, business is booming at ice cream stands, such as this one in Music. Of course, there's no better way to keep cool than to take a dip in the pool, and that's just what these kids did this afternoon at McDade Park. Then there are those who would rather slide on the water. Others keep cool by splashing the water all over their cars. But this construction worker in Scranton had no pool, no water slide, so she improvised and came up with her own method to beat the heat. That probably felt good.
Looks like a wet T-shirt party to me from there.
That is Newswatch 16.
ABC's World News Tonight is next with Peter Jennings. For the team, thanks for being with us.
Enjoy your evening.